Hello and a very warm welcome to the third quarter FY24 earnings press conference of Tata Consultancy Services. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kritika Saxena. We have our friends from the media joining in person in the TCS headquarters in Mumbai. And of course, we have several stakeholders joining in on our social media platform. We are streaming live. I'll introduce the management first. We have MD and CEO Craig Pritivasan, COO NGS, Samir Seksaria, our CFO, and our CHRO, Milind Lakkar. As always, we'll first begin with the MD and CEO address. Kriti, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Priya. Good evening, everyone. So, this is a quarter where sustained growth momentum in cloud and cybersecurity practices and emerging markets helped us deliver really strong results in seasonally weak Q3. Our revenues grew by 1.7% year on year and 1% quarter on quarter on a constant currency basis. Our rupee revenue grew by 4% to reach 60,583 crores. Our continued focus on operational excellence helped us achieve an operating margin of 25%, which represents a sequential margin expansion of 75 bps. This translates to 15,155 crores of operating profit. Our net profit for the quarter has come in at 19.4%, translating to 11,735 crores. Again, this is an expansion of 40 bps in the net margin. Consequently, our EPS reached 32.14 from 31 in Q2. So margin numbers, all the numbers actually that I mentioned that we'll be discussing exclude a one-time charge of USD 125 million towards settlement of legal claim. Cash from operations at 11,277 crores is at 102% of net profit. The board has declared an interim dividend of rupees 9 and a special dividend of rupees 18, amounting to about 9,800 crores. This is in line with our practice of returning 80 to 100% of our free cash flows back to our shareholders. Our customer metrics continue to improve despite seasonality and macro uncertainties. The number of customers from whom we make more than 100 million rose by 2 to 61 customers on a year-on-year basis. There has been good additions across all the other bands. In addition, our customer base of 1 million plus also stands at 1,288, an increase of 71 customers over last year. Moving on to segmental commentary, the new growth markets of India, Asia Pacific, Japan, Middle East, and Africa and LATAM had very strong growth, validating our approach of portfolio diversification. Especially, our revenue from India grew by 23.4% on a year-on-year basis. Among the major markets, UK grew by 8.1%, led by market share gains. North America had a degrowth of 3%, reflecting the overall market uncertainties. Europe has continued to grow on sequential basis and achieved a 0.5% growth on a year-on-year basis. Among the verticals, manufacturing, life sciences and healthcare, energy and utilities, and regional markets and platforms had a strong sequential growth. On a year-on-year basis, manufacturing grew by 7%, life sciences and healthcare by 3.1%, energy utilities by 11.8%, regional markets and platforms by 19.2%. As you can see, impacted by market sentiments, BFSI degrew by 3% and consumer business degrew marginally by 0.3% on a year-on-year basis. Our deal wins continue to be very strong. Our order book closure for the quarter stands at $8.1 billion. This has been achieved without the support of any mega deals. This represents a year-on-year growth of 3.4%. Our order book for North America stood at $4.2 billion, for BFSI at $2.6 billion, and consumer business at $1.5 billion. Our attrition continues to improve. On LTM basis, our IT attrition has reduced to 13.3% from 14.9% in Q2. Subsequent to the launch of our AI.cloud business unit, we are seeing an increased traction in the marketplace. We are now seeing Gen AI POCs pilots moving into production. In Q3, we had 4 production deployments of Gen AI engagements. We have enhanced our partnership also with all the major players in this space. As an update on our R&D efforts, we have filed for 187 patents in Q3 and were granted 305. Our continued efforts in creating IP have been recognized with the Asia IP Elite Award 2023 for being an exemplar of IP value creation. With that, I hand it back to Kritika and we'll open it up for questions. Back to you, Kritika. Thank you.
Thank you, Kriti. We'll start our Q&A with Reema Tendulkar from CNBC TV 18. Reema.
Gentlemen, good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. Great quarter, despite all the, tenuous external environment. Kriti, first, an overview of the macro environment. Would you say the situation today is better than it was 3 months ago? Qualitatively, if you can provide some color, and what are budget conversations looking like? And also, what is the growth X of India, the BSNL deal? And when do you expect your core markets, North America, BFSI, etc., to recover? NGS, for you, the question is on deal wins. I remember last time you said that maybe the deal win run rate could be $9 to $10 billion. It's fallen a little short of that at $8.1 billion. And why is it that the industry itself has not seen mega deals? And also, if you could just give us an update on Gen AI, how has it changed compared to 3 months ago? Samir, if you could tell us, 70 basis points, what led to the margin expansion? And 3 quarters back, you had a target of hitting 25% as exit margins. You've done it this quarter. So what could exit margins for FY24 look like? And Milind, for you on attrition, it's in the comfort range now. So do you see it trending lower? Is that trend continuing? And even on moderation, why is your employee headcount moderated? Thank you.
Thanks, Kritika, and Happy New Year to everyone. I think still we are not in a position to call whether this macro, from our perspective, situations has not, that hasn't changed much. There was a sense of optimism when the interest rates were not high, but it has not resulted in any ground level certainty or decisions being taken towards new investments. Maybe it will happen after some time. We'll get to know maybe as Q4 unfolds, but I think it's too early to call. We are not seeing any ground change. On the budget question, we have again we'll get to know, but also increasingly we find that there is a limit. We shouldn't, we are placing far too much importance on budget because we feel that our clients take decision on a quarterly basis, and so it's more like a planning horizon on what they intend to do. But most of our clients have been very agile, looking at the market situation. They keep changing, so I will not read too much into even if we get, we'll get no, like it's not in a position to be calling out as it's growing or whatever. I would say it's probably more stable like last year. You have the number, Samir?
We don't call that a number out in terms of client-specific numbers, excluding that. You could do the maths in terms of.
I think we can go into the details after.
As I said, no, like the sentiments have been same. So I don't think we are ready to say that it will recover by Q4 or by Q1. We will not call that out now.
Yeah, I think overall the situation has not deteriorated from last quarter, right? Given all the things that we are all hearing from everybody, the fact that there is no deterioration itself is a very positive sign, right? Secondly, I think with reference to the deal wins, I think fantastic, 8.1 billion in this market situation. We're very proud of our sales teams, our account teams, The fact that it has come without any mega deal support, and it has been pretty broad-based. So we're really happy with the deal that we have secured. Besides, the qualified pipeline that we see is actually increased after securing this 8.1 billion, right? So there is a demand out there, and there's something that we have to go and capture it as it matures. So I would say that we are pretty happy where we are with respect to what we have accomplished in this quarter, and how we see things emerge in the coming quarters. Right? I will not read too much into BFSI degrowth as well, right? Because actually, if I look at the client portfolio that we have, the client portfolio actually has done well. Couple of large clients where we were executing large transformation programs that got finished, and we've delivered them successfully. So we'll have to see how that pans out, with these new clients, these new projects with these clients, as they go through the budgets for this coming year, etc. So overall, I feel that, comfortable that we have secured a $8.1 billion worth of deals this quarter, right? The other question, I think, is Gen AI. Gen AI, I think, as Kriti pointed out, I think it's moving into a situation where people are comfortable with it. They want to try out new things. They want to try out in very new areas across technology, operations, and everywhere else. I think we have continued our focus on training majority of our workforce on using Gen AI and coming up with innovative ideas of using Gen AI to improve our own productivity and efficiency, as well as deliver projects in an architecture which can evolve on its own, right, using the Gen AI thing. The possibilities that we see for the future using Gen AI are enormous, and we only hope that it will realize its potential.
So on the margins, Q3 margins at 25% are in sequential improvement of 70 basis points. The walkthrough of that is in spite of headwinds of 80 basis points, comprising mainly from furloughs and higher third-party expenses. We were able to more than offset that with disciplined execution and operational improvement of 60 basis points coming in from productivity and realization. For the 70 basis points coming in from reduction in subcontractor expenses, and we got 25 basis points support from currency. As you know, this is the 70 basis points is delivered on back of 110 basis points in the previous quarter. We don't give guidance, but we hope the momentum continues.
Rima, 13.3 is our comfort range. Very, very satisfying to see these numbers. Very proud of our entire TCS team to come together and drive this number down to our comfort range. Whether it will come down further, I expect it to come down further. With respect to your question on employee headcount moderating, the answer remains the same. Actually, what I've been saying all along, that we've made a significant investment and we've made so much of hiring in the past years. We are continuing to leverage that investment today and driving business that way, and not needing to hire more.
Anisha Jain from ET Now. It's just a little easier if you ask your questions one by one. Easier to remember.
Great. If you let me ask all my questions.
2 questions, Anisha, as always.
Sure. So let me start with Kriti first. You last quarter when we met, you were talking about how the deal ramp downs have been there in the sense that they weren't ramping up to that pace. Has that changed now in terms of the client billings? Has that normalized? And about North America, NGS said that he's saying that no bad news is good news. But are you a bit disappointed that North America is not recovering? Because, I mean, the commentary from Fed and the businesses have improved, but the sentiment clearly has not. What's your assumption of the timeline there? I'll wait by and then ask rest of the questions later.
Okay. First on, see what we talked about last quarter also is clients continue to reprioritize all the ongoing programs, and there is a, because of the market sentiments, the return on investment expectations are higher. So whatever doesn't meet those expectations, those projects get passed. And I don't think there is any major change in that, because as I said, there's no major change in the sentiment. Like at least on there's no on the ground. And am I disappointed? Yes. Like we definitely want to grow. Like we want to grow faster, and we expect that at least in the our deal wins are good, as NG has pointed out. We are winning deals, so we're hoping the medium to long term it will recover.
Okay, point taken. NG, so are you hinting at $9 to $11 billion going forward in quarterly TCV or 8 to 10? And this year, of course, the double-digit growth is difficult, but are you ruling it out for FY25 as well? Because at least the base is a bit more favorable. And if the pickup does happen, you see a potential, a realistic potential of double-digit.
चलिए मैं यहाँ पर नतीजे पहले आपको बता देता हूँ। टीसीएस देश की सबसे बड़ी आईटी कंपनी ने अपने नतीजे जो है तिमाही नतीजे वो पोस्ट किए हैं, और ये नतीजे फर्स्ट लुक में देखने में इन लाइन लग रहे हैं, क्योंकि हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे 11,345 करोड़ रुपए की मुनाफे की फिगर आएगी, उसके मुकाबले 11,342 करोड़ रुपए की मुनाफा जो है वो पोस्ट किया है। माफ कीजिएगा, 11,342 करोड़ से घटकर 11,058 करोड़ का मुनाफा पोस्ट किया है। तो ये स्लाइटली मिस है, लेकिन इनलाइन कहिए आप, एडजस्टेड बेसिस पे देखोगे इसे तो ये 12,000 करोड़ से ज्यादा का मुनाफा बैठ जाएगा। तो कहीं पर भी किसी भी लिहाज से टीसीएस ने डिसअपॉइंट नहीं किया है। बॉटम लाइन की फिगर है ठीक, ऊपर से मैं एक बार फिर से बता दूं, मुनाफे की फिगर 11,342 करोड़ से घटकर 11,058 करोड़ है। आय जो है उसमें 1.5% की बढ़ोतरी तिमाही दर तिमाही आधार पर देखने को मिली है, 60,583 करोड़ रुपए, जो कि अनुमान से बेहतर मानी जाएगी। कामकाजी मुनाफा इबिट 4.6% बढ़कर 15,155 करोड़ रुपए रहा है, और ये भी अनुमान से बेहतर समझा जाएगा। ऑपरेटिंग लिहाज से टीसीएस के नतीजे अच्छे हैं। मार्जिन 25% का रिपोर्ट कर दिए, 24.3% एक्सपेक्टेशन थी, और 24.3% से तिमाही दर तिमाही आधार पर मार्जिन बढ़कर 25% हुए हैं, यानी कि 70 बेसिस पॉइंट्स का इजाफा मार्जिन पे देखने को मिला है। तो ये एक बहुत ही बेहतर पिक्चर जो है वो पोस्ट करता है। और इसके अलावा डॉलर रेवेन्यू बेहतर आए हैं, 7,281 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स के डॉलर रेवेन्यू पोस्ट किए हैं, जो कि अनुमान से बेहतर हैं। शेयर धारकों को तोहफा दिया है, 9 रुपए प्रति शेयर के अंतरिम डिविडेंड की घोषणा कर दी, ऊपर से 18 रुपए प्रति शेयर के स्पेशल डिविडेंड की घोषणा कर दी। लेकिन ये डिविडेंड ज्यादा दे रही है कंपनी, बायबैक पर ज्यादा खर्च कर रही है बजाय कि विस्तार पर। बस यही एक कंसर्न है। इसी की वजह से आप देख रहे हो देश की सबसे बड़ी कंपनी जब एग्रेसिवली विस्तार ना करे तो वो कहीं ना कहीं दिखाता है कि चैलेंजेस हैं, गोइंग फॉरवर्ड अभी भी चैलेंजेस हैं। मार्केट का डेटा मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि अलग अलग टेरिटरीज में किस तरीके से परफॉर्म किया है, लेकिन यूएस प्रॉब्लम बना हुआ है। अमेरिका में अच्छे अभी तक रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ नहीं आई है, चैलेंजेस हैं, लेकिन ये सिचुएशन पिछली तिमाही के मुकाबले अभी कोई ज्यादा बदलाव नहीं हुआ है। मैनेजमेंट ने साफ तौर पे कह दिया कि ज्यादा यूएस मार्केट की हालत टाइट नहीं हुई है, ठीक प्रदर्शन देखने को मिल रहा है। हाँ, उतनी ग्रोथ नहीं आई है जितनी मैनेजमेंट एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा था, लेकिन फिर भी यहाँ पर आने वाले समय के लिए यूएस में देखते हैं कि किस तरीके से बिजनेस डेवलप होता है। एट्रेशन रेट घट गया है 13.3%, आने वाले समय के लिए और घटेगा। लेकिन टीसीएस जैसी कंपनी कह रही है कि अभी जरूरत नहीं है कर्मचारियों की और एडिशन करने की। तो ये एक चैलेंज है। हम पिछले कुछ तिमाही से देख रहे हैं कि जो बढ़ चढ़कर कैंपस रिक्रूटमेंट्स होती थी उतना बढ़ चढ़कर नहीं होगी, टीसीएस द्वारा भी नहीं होगी। तो सोचिए फिर छोटी मझोली कंपनियों का क्या होगा। अभी इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग हायरिंग टीसीएस की ओर से नहीं होगी। और ऑर्डर बुक 8.1 बिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स की है। ये ऑर्डर बुक ठीक है, लेकिन जैसे मैंने कहा कि अलग अलग टेरिटरीज का क्या प्रदर्शन रहा है, तो चैलेंजेस हैं अमेरिका में, जिसमें अगर आप अमेरिका की ग्रोथ देखोगे तो -3% है, यानी कि डी ग्रोथ है। सबसे तगड़ी ग्रोथ इमर्जिंग मार्केट्स में इंडिया में मिली है, 23.4% की ग्रोथ। फिर मिडिल ईस्ट एंड अफ्रीका रीजन में मिली है 16% की ग्रोथ। लैटिन अमेरिका में 13.2%, एशिया पैसिफिक में 3.9% और यूनाइटेड किंगडम में 8.1% की ग्रोथ। लेकिन चैलेंज है नॉर्थ अमेरिका और ऊपर से बीएफएसआई सेगमेंट। बीएफएसआई सेगमेंट में -3% की ग्रोथ देखने को मिली है। तो सबसे बेहतर अगर आप बात करें तो इस समय लाइफ साइंसेस, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज, ये कुछ कारोबार हैं जो बेहतर कर रहे हैं। लेकिन जो सबसे हाई रेवेन्यू वाला जो बिजनेस सेगमेंट माना जाता है, दैट इज बीएफएसआई, उसमें चैलेंजेस अभी भी बरकरार हैं। ओवरऑल समरी करी जाए पूरे नतीजों की तो नतीजे इन लाइन है। अगर कोई भी डिप आया तो वो एब्जॉर्ब हो जाएगा ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम टीसीएस और शेयर धारकों को ये समझिए कि आप टोटल मिलाकर 27 रुपए प्रति शेयर का डिविडेंड, जिसमें 18 रुपए प्रति शेयर का स्पेशल डिविडेंड शामिल है, वो दे दिया है टीसीएस ने। तो कोई बड़े डाउनग्रेड्स की संभावना तो है नहीं, और इनफैक्ट जिस तरीके से पिछले कुछ तिमाही में अच्छी रिटर्न्स दी हैं टीसीएस के शेयर ने, हो सकता है कि कोई डिप आए तो फिर से एब्जॉर्ब हो जाए, तो कोई डरने घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है, नतीजे इन लाइन है। आइए सुनते हैं मैनेजमेंट क्या कहती है।
They very successfully we complete them, but then the another replacement program doesn't start, so that has a impact on this one. And there is a furlough impact in some parts of Europe. So these two primarily are the reasons why you see a degrowth in BFSI. So, but as I said, but we've been like NGS mentioned multiple times, like we've been winning very good deals in BFSI as well, and we have a very good pipeline. So we are confident medium to long term growth will return there.
Right. And also we see the growth in India stands out at like more than 23%. So do you expect this to continue in the upcoming quarters? What's driving that growth?
Obviously, like India growth is driven by the positive seasonality, like we do, and of course BSNL. We started to deliver BSNL program, so the revenue from BSNL also comes. So these two are important factors. Will we be growing 23% every quarter? Like that will be a stretch. But will we continue to grow? Yes, we are very focused. We will continue and hope to grow.
Right. Had two quick questions for Milan. So you had earlier mentioned that you're expecting to onboard 40,000 freshers in FY24. So do you still stand by that number, or is there an update?
See, I think overall for the year, I still stand by that number. How we start up with what number and eventually where we'll end up is something we'll decide as we go along.
Right. And the other thing is, this is more from an industry perspective. We are seeing the poaching issue coming up within the tier one IT companies. I don't think TCS has reported or seen as much of that happening, but just wanted to get your thoughts on, will this lead to senior employee contracts changing, or do you expect an impact of this?
I did not get the question. Sorry.
Like
No, I just
change the
wanted to
contract
understand
clause.
like the whole thing happening, that a lot of company veterans moving across
Yeah,
rival firms.
we have not. Have you seen that in the past from TCS? The
No,
answer is
not as
no.
much, but just from.
No, so answer is no. So that continues.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sajid Mangat from NDTV Profit.
Hi, gentlemen, happy new year to you all. Kriti, you spoke about that on the ground, nothing has changed for you compared to the last quarter. Give us a sense of how the discretionary orders are playing out. Are they coming, or still on a very slow pace, which is coming in? And do you see as new products from a Gen AI point of view, you rolled out 4 of them in the quarter? Do you see some of the clients moving towards that instead of a normal new contract that's going to come in from your end?
See, first on the discretionary projects, we don't see a major change. Okay, like yes, like we on a environment like this, clients would focus more on cost and optimization than transformation. So there is no major change as discretionary, not discretionary, but the project focus tends to be more on cost optimization than transformation. So and the second point there is like all the projects that we won recently, all of them we've been continuing to execute mostly as per plan, and so there is no rethink on what we signed in recent past as well. So there is no change in the whatever clients signed up with us in the last 1 year. We are continuing to deliver on them, and the revenue flow is along expected lines, and there is no major change discretionary or non-discretionary. Gen A, I don't think that is impacting at this time. Like clients, what the way we see it is, clients are trying to see what benefit they can gain, and they're doing multiple experimentations. Like I talked about some of the POCs moving into production, but they're all small projects. We are not talking about huge, large projects here, and so that continues to happen, but it's not eating into a regular TCV.
You've been giving good amount of TCV every quarter for last couple of quarters there. but the execution is something getting delayed because of decisions at client levels, or projects starts are not happening on time. Have you assessed the total TCVs that you have got over the last couple of quarters on how they are stacking up with respect to, are they active, they're on a slow pace, or they've been deferred by a few weeks or month or quarter?
So it's just now, that's why I mentioned, like whatever we won, we've been executing as per plan, and the revenue flow has been as per plan. What is hurting us is the programs that we started maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, that are getting reprioritized. I want to reiterate that the programs that we started in the last 1 year, they continue to deliver as per plan. We don't see any of the programs that started after that. See, once the uncertainty was known, we called it out, I think, around last Q4. So whatever we signed after that, clients also knew the environment in which they were signing. So there's not been further rethink on those programs.
NG, when do you see BFSI orders picking up? Because you saw degrowth this year, but as Kriti said, it's not a cause of worry. But from a North America point of view, when do you see orders from the BFSI picking up?
I think soon, right?
What's the
But
trigger?
I
Let me
think
put it
if
this
you
way:
really look at it,
what do you see as a trigger for clients to start looking at and giving out orders?
I think this quarter, as Kriti explained, the degrowth has largely been contributed by programs that got finished, number one, and then
Seasonal furloughs.
furloughs, right? Which is pretty much, if you look at UK, Europe, the even in Asia Pacific, right? So all that, I think the furlough will probably be there in Q4 also for a couple of weeks or so, but then that should bounce back, right, significantly. And some of the deals that we have won in this $8.1 billion that we have announced is also include deals from BFSI. So you should see that should bottom out, and then I personally believe that we should grow in BFSI from the coming quarter itself compared to the baseline that we have got right now. But if you really look at life sciences, we've grown by 1.1%, manufacturing 7%, energy resources utilities by 11.8%. The whole regional markets have grown well. So if you look at all of this, right, there are deals which are in these segments. These segments, I think they all are not holding; they're all investing, right? And proceeding with it. If you look at technology, or if you look at BFSI, there are pockets where they want to be cautious. They want to see the impact of new technologies and digital twins and other things. How do we employ them much more productively? So they're waiting and watching, because BFSI always gets the first impact, right? Whether it's positive or negative. So I think we should see some of those segments show a positive sign in Q4 is what I'm hoping. While life sciences, manufacturing, etc., should continue to be at least grow moderately. Right?
The India growth, 23% odd. Kriti said it's not going to be like that for every quarter, but I know this BSNL deal is front loaded. So for how many quarters are we going to see the effect of that for India business?
See, India business this quarter is basically during this, but seasonally is the third quarter. There are let's say third party software licenses, etc., come in, right, during this quarter. And of course, we started to deliver BSNL, and BSNL, we have a plan to execute it through the contract period. So it's certainly not one off. We have just started to deliver a certain number of sites, and we have a long way to go. So I should see that momentum picking up from quarter on quarter over the next at least 4 or 6 quarters. Yeah.
Samir, good set of margins, and you've been able to get 25% this quarter. Uh, do you see some kind of impact with respect to receivables from the clients slowing, the number of days increasing as a result of some of the uh, headwinds which we see in some of the markets?
So yeah, our receivable days are best in class, and at 67 days, they're quite managed. On the working capital management, we keep a keen
चलिए, तो सवाल बार बार यही आ रहा है कि जिस तरीके से अमेरिका में इस समय दिक्कतें बनी हुई हैं और इस बार भी ग्रोथ फिगर अमेरिकन मार्केट्स में कोई बहुत तगड़ी नहीं दिखाई है टीसीएस में, तो क्या आने वाले समय के लिए ये जो बाजार है अमेरिका में, क्या ये रिकवर कर जाएगा टीसीएस के लिए? तो मैनेजमेंट कह रही है कि देखना होगा आने वाले समय के लिए कि क्या कुछ प्रदर्शन देखने को मिलता है अमेरिकी कारोबार का, पर कॉन्फिडेंट है कि बीएफएसआई सेगमेंट धीरे धीरे करके रिकवर होगा। इस बार तो उतनी ग्रोथ नहीं दिखाई, बीएफएसआई सिर्फ डी ग्रोथ ही दिखा के गया है -3%। कम्युनिकेशंस और मीडिया भी -4.9% की डी ग्रोथ दिखा के गया है। टेक्नोलॉजी एंड सर्विसेज भी -5% रहा है। लेकिन एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज में 11.8% की ग्रोथ है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में 7% की ग्रोथ है और लाइफ साइंसेज एंड हेल्थ केयर में 3.1% की ग्रोथ है। और जो तगड़ा बाजार निकल के आया ना वो इंडिया ही है, 23.4% और मिडिल ईस्ट में 16%। लैटिन अमेरिका में भी अच्छी ग्रोथ है 13.2% की। लेकिन ओवरऑल देखा जाए तो जो मेजरली हम ट्रैक करते हैं दैट इज अमेरिका, और अमेरिका में -3% की नॉर्थ अमेरिका में डी ग्रोथ आई है। कॉन्टिनेंटल यूरोप में भी 0.5% की मात्र ग्रोथ दिखाई है, लेकिन यूके में अच्छा प्रदर्शन हुआ है, 8.1% की ग्रोथ। ओवरऑल नतीजे में फिर से कह रहा हूँ कि इनलाइन है। हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे 11,345 करोड़ रुपए का मुनाफा 11,058 करोड़ का आया है, लेकिन अगर इसको एडजस्टेड बेसिस पे देखोगे तो ये आंकड़ा 12,016 करोड़ के आसपास बैठेगा, एडजस्टमेंट्स अगर करके देखोगे तो। और आय 1.5% बढ़ी है, 60,583 करोड़। हम 60,000 करोड़ के आसपास ही एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे। कामकाजी मुनाफा 4.6% बढ़ा है, 15,155 करोड़ हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे, 14,600 करोड़। तो उससे तो बहुत ही बेहतर प्रदर्शन ऑपरेटिंग फ्रंट पे कर लिया। खर्चों को संभाल लिया टीसीएस ने, सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा यही है। और उसी के कारण चाहे आप फरलोज के हेडविंड्स देखो या फिर किसी और चीज के, वो इस बार नेगेट होते हुए नजर आए हैं। मार्जिन 24.3% से बढ़कर 25%, 70 बेसिस पॉइंट तो मार्जिन ही बढ़ गए इतनी चुनौती के बावजूद। तो बाजार को ये चीज सही लगेगी, मार्जिन बढ़ाकर शो किए हैं, मतलब 25% हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे कि 24.3% के मार्जिन रिपोर्ट करेगी, उसके मुकाबले तो बहुत ही बेहतर मार्जिन का फिगर आ गया। और ऊपर से 27 रुपए का तो डिविडेंड अनाउंस कर रखा है टीसीएस ने, 9 रुपए प्रति शेयर का अंतरिम डिविडेंड और 18 रुपए प्रति शेयर का स्पेशल डिविडेंड अनाउंस किया है। एट्रिशन रेट कंपनी का कम हुआ है, 13.3% पे आ गया है लास्ट 12 मंथ्स देखोगे तो। और कंपनी की ऑर्डर बुक है तगड़ी। बस अब ये ग्लोबल हेडविंड्स है ना, इससे अगर चुनौती निपट गई अगले 1-2 क्वार्टर्स में, तो फिर यहाँ पर री रेटिंग की संभावना बहुत हो जाती है आईटी स्टॉक्स की। हाल फिलहाल की जेफरीज की रिपोर्ट भी आईटी स्टॉक्स को सपोर्ट करने वाली ही थी। देखते हैं कि आने वाले समय के लिए ये जो मेजर कंट्रीब्यूटर्स है दैट इज यूरोप एंड अमेरिका, यहाँ पर क्या तगड़ी ग्रोथ टीसीएस वापसी करता है कि नहीं। अभी चैलेंजेस सारा का सारा मानो कि यूएस में जिस तरीके की अनसर्टेनिटी है ना, उसकी वजह से इंडियन आईटी पर भी पड़ रहा है। पर गोइंग फॉरवर्ड अगर यूएस की स्थिति थोड़ी बहुत भी ठीक होती है तो टीसीएस के बॉटम लाइन में तगड़ा इंपैक्ट पड़ सकता है पॉजिटिव साइड पे। डिप्स में ऐड करने वाला ही स्टॉक होगा, कल ब्रोकिंग हाउसेस की रिपोर्ट आएगी और मुझे लग नहीं रहा कि बहुत ही कुछ चेंजेस होंगे टारगेट प्राइस में। लेकिन अगर कोई डिप आता है तो ये स्टॉक इंस्टीट्यूशंस के रिटेल निवेशकों के रडार पर रहने वाला है। एक बस कंसर्न ये है कि ये जो कैंपस हायरिंग होती है, नई नौकरियां, इनमें थोड़ा धीमापन देखने को मिल रहा है। कोई बहुत बढ़ चढ़कर टीसीएस नई हायरिंग नहीं कर रहा है, और ये देश का सबसे बड़ा एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेटर है टीसीएस। सबसे बड़ा कंसर्न इस समय यही है कि टीसीएस की मैनेजमेंट पिछले कुछ क्वार्टर से लगातार न्यू एम्प्लॉय एडिशंस को लेकर थोड़ा कॉशियस है, और वो कह रहे हैं जितने हमने एम्प्लॉयज आज तक ऐड कर लिए हमारे वो एसेट्स ही हैं, और उस तरीके से अभी उनको हम उनके लेवरेज पर हम काउंट करेंगे, यानी कि जितने हमने ऐड कर लिए पिछले कुछ सालों में बहुत ही तगड़ी हायरिंग करी है टीसीएस ने, अब उसका बेनिफिट उठाएगी कंपनी। पर न्यू हायरिंग पे थोड़ा सा ब्रेक लगता हुआ नजर आ रहा है पिछले कुछ क्वार्टर्स में, और यही एक स्लो डाउन का कंसर्न जो है ये बताया गया था पिछले कुछ क्वार्टर्स में कि आईटी में देखने को मिलेगा। अब नतीजे इन लाइन है, लेकिन अमेरिका और यूरोप मार्केट का प्रदर्शन कुछ बहुत एक्साइटिंग नहीं है। कोई स्टॉक पे कुछ ज्यादा हलचल कल के सत्र में नहीं होगी, कोई डिप आया तो उसके बाद खरीदारी धीरे धीरे करके लौट सकती है। आइए देखते हैं मैनेजमेंट क्या कहे।
Actually, people need to understand that, and it will only be good for their careers if they basically get into mobile, be mobile, and get into good projects wherever there are, and build their career.
But a lot of these people and some of these that we have also spoken to, actually their concern is that they're being moved without projects. Is that something that is normal as well?
That is, I would not like to comment on that, but because the fact is we are moving people because there is business in that location. So that is how it is.
Got it. Just one last query on the variable pay. What do we expect this quarter?
It will be 100% for 70% of our workforce, and for the remaining 30, it will be based on business unit performance.
Thank you. Shivani Shinde, Business Standard.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen. Hi. Most of the questions have been asked you. I have a few clarifications. Kriti, the press release says that the growth this quarter was led by cloud, AI.cloud. You said this quarter was four deals which moved from POC to actual contracts. What's the size of these deals? If it's leading the growth, can you give us some sense about that?
Okay, I just want to clarify. I talked about 4 GenAI deals moving from, and if did our revenue come from those 4 deals? I didn't say that. Like we say, our AI cloud practice includes GenAI and our what we've been doing in cloud. The growth is actually, we've been talking about cloud for quite some time. We're seeing that cloud becoming more and more mainstream, more migrations happening, more modernization programs coming in. So I would still say the growth in terms of volume came from mainstreaming of cloud and more opportunities and more programs we do in cloud. So the 4 programs I talked about in GenAI is to say that things are slowly moving from POC stage to production. So these 4 GenAI deals did not change our revenue.
When you say cloud, don't we consider that as discretionary spends? I mean, how do you look at that?
Yes, it is discretionary. See, it is depending on how people look at it. Like, because cloud also has the element of moving from your capex to opex, and if they do it right, they can also reduce their overall spend. So somebody can look at, but it is discretionary in a way that it gives you more flexibility. It reduces release cycle. So it benefits the organization in multiple ways. Whether to call it discretionary or non-discretionary is a line we want to draw, but it's a program that they have to do. It's a transformation program. In a way, I would call it a non-discretionary transformation program.
Great. NGS, this is the fourth straight quarter where growth is being driven by UK. If I have to look at TCS, the kind of revenue it makes and that being driven by UK, what's the room that you still see? I mean, assuming that, like you said in the commentary, nothing major has changed at the ground level. Do you see more room? There is room for growth in UK?
Yeah, I think so. I think by saying no, I think I'll put the sales team to sleep. Not say that, right? So I think there is a room for UK to grow. I think they are initiating. Many industries are investing. Public sector in UK is investing. Europe, I think is turning around for us, and we are seeing some growth that is coming back compared to what we have done in the last 3-4 quarters. So I think UK and Europe should do well in the coming quarters, is my prediction.
US, you don't want to take a call on that?
US, we'll have to grow, because it's a given that it's a significant part of our portfolio.
Right.
It will have that portfolio impact and it will grow. There's no reason why it should not grow.
Right.
Barring, as I said, anything, specifically on BFSI and retail, they will wait for certain positivity or certain depending on what they read of the macro situation and in an election year where they want to invest, etc. But what I think, the cloud question that you asked is more interesting, because the minute they have started a program to put things and workloads onto cloud, it's they have to go and complete it to realize the benefit, right? If they stop in between, then the return on that investment that they may will get deferred. So to that extent, the typical cloud migration and cloud transformation deals initiated, they're all progressing, right? They may calibrate it a bit because, Jane, I think if I have to put in, should I do it differently? That kind of questions come. But then moving workloads into the cloud is something that we are doing it. And in fact, across hyperscalers, we probably have the best record of moving workload to the cloud.
Thanks. Samir, a small clarification. So assuming the next quarter is similar to this quarter, if you look at margins, chunk of it has come through productivity gains and cost. Do you still see room there, improvement going to the next quarter?
So we have relied on the measures which I called out: productivity, utilization, realization. This time it was more productivity, realization, and subcontractors. They definitely offer scope for further improvisation.
Okay. Milind, final one for you. So when you say you're going to the campus, this is for FY25.
Yes, right.
So you've already done your 40,000 for this year. Have they been onboarded?
No, we don't give away the numbers on how many we have onboarded so far, but it's I'll tell you, every quarter a significant number coming in. Okay, but this process I talked about is for FY25.
Right. But do we see some delay in onboarding of the campus hire that has happened for this fiscal?
Every quarter we are getting a sizable number, and it is going as per the schedule, like the way it happens every year.
Thanks.
Thank you. Kushal Gupta from Z Business.
गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन. सो मेरे 4 सवाल रहेंगे. सबसे पहला कृति आपके लिए है. तो मैं पिछले साल के मुकाबले इस साल का कंपैरिजन देखना चाह रहा हूँ इंडस्ट्री लेवल पर, कि टीसीएस जैसी बड़ी कंपनी है और वेंडर कंसोलिडेशन हम बात करते आ रहे हैं, काफी सारी न्यूज़ भी उसके बारे में आई है. तो वेंडर कंसोलिडेशन को लेकर क्या हमने बेनिफिट किया है एज अ कंपनी पिछले कुछ समय से? एंड दूसरा सवाल रहेगा मेरा समीर से. समीर, आपसे ये जानना चाहूंगा कि प्राइसिंग को लेकर आगे चलकर क्या रियलाइजेशन हमारी और सुधर सकती है? बिकॉज पिछले कुछ क्वार्टर से क्लाइंट्स के साथ नेगोशिएशंस भी चल रही होंगी, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्री लेवल पर तो ये बात चल रही थी, बिकॉज 2023 आईटी के लिए थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट साल आप कह सकते हैं कि रहा है. तो ये 2 सवाल मेरे रहेंगे, बाकी के 2 सवाल फिर पूछता हूँ.
So you asked about vendor consolidation. That continues to be I talked cost and optimization as one of the key levers, and within that, vendor consolidation is a major program. Like our clients try to do a vendor consolidation so that they can drive more efficiency. They can also move operating model transformation. So that continues to be a key lever. In fact, even among the TCV we have, a significant portion comes from vendor consolidation.
प्राइसिंग हमारी स्टेबल रही है. रियलाइजेशन लेकिन अगर आप देखो तो लास्ट 4 से 5 क्वार्टर से इम्प्रूव हो रही है, बट वो जैसे मैंने ऑपरेशनल डिसिप्लिन एग्जीक्यूशन और ऑपरेशनल एक्सीलेंस ड्राइव करने की बात की, ज़्यादातर उससे है.
ओके. एनजीएस, आपसे सवाल है, जैसे कि पिछले साल हमने देखा सितंबर में अनाउंसमेंट हुई टाटास की एनवीडिया के साथ पार्टनरशिप हुई थी, तो उसको लेकर आगे चलकर जब हम क्लाइंट्स के साथ बात करते हैं तो उसमें जेएनएआई जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं या हमारी जो ऑफरिंग्स हैं उसमें कुछ बदलाव आया है, उसमें कुछ चेंज आया है? एंड फाइनल सवाल मिलिंद आपसे, ट्रेनिंग को लेकर कि जो पार्टनरशिप हुई है एनवीडिया के साथ 6 लाख टीसीएस एम्प्लॉइज को आगे चलकर एआई इंफ्रा पर ट्रेन करने के लिए, वहां पर अभी क्या स्टेटस है और हाउ हैज एनवीडिया जो है उन्होंने किस तरह से हेल्प किया अब तक?
The partnership with NVIDIA is progressing as we envisaged. Part and parcel of that is the training and upskilling of a lot of our employees, which is going according to plan. And advanced training, I think, beyond the minimum training that we started, and there are about 14,000 of our employees have been trained in advanced AI technologies, and how do we leverage the architecture and specific features of the NVIDIA chipset and framework that is there. We have started to go into market with some of those offerings. I think it will pick up, is our read at this moment.
मेरा उत्तर शायद एनजीएस ने दे दिया. पूरा दे दिया. तो 167,000 हम लोगों ने जेएनएआई में बेसिक स्किल्स डेवलप कर लिए थे, और 14,000 एडवांस स्किल्स में भी आ गए हैं, नेक्स्ट लेवल पे आए हैं. एडवांस नहीं कहूँगा, नेक्स्ट लेवल पे आ गए हैं. स्पेसिफिकली विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू एनवीडिया इसमें से कार्व आउट करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, लेकिन ऑल ऑफ इट इज बेसिकली बी डूइंग टुगेदर बेस्ड ऑन अ सर्टेन स्पेसिफिक ऑफरिंग्स वी आर ड्राइविंग।
तो ओवरऑल अभी जो जेन एआई की सिचुएशन है उसको देखते हुए क्या आप जितनी ट्रेनिंग की इंटेंसिटी है या जो पेस है, जो नंबर ऑफ पीपल जो आप ट्रेन कर रहे हैं वो और बढ़ाएंगे आप?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बढ़ाएंगे। हम चाहते हैं एवरीबॉडी शुड नो, एवरीबॉडी शुड हैव बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग, और उसके बाद एक पिरामिड बनेगा, उसमें कुछ लोग E1 पे आएंगे, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट लेवल एक्सपर्टीज डेवलप होगा, इसी तरह से आगे बढ़ेगा।
थैंक यू।
वी लाइक वी डू फॉर एनी अदर टेक्नोलॉजी।
Varun Sood from Mint.
Hi, gentlemen. Two questions, sir. One for Kriti, one for NGS. Kriti, at least over the last 3-4 quarters, there had been a kind of a disconnect between the TCVs and your revenue growth. Our understanding was that some of the projects are getting deferred. They are not starting on time. And like you said a couple of minutes back, that they are getting reprioritized. So at least some of the deals which you have won as part of the TCVs has
चलिए तो फटाफट से मैं समराइज कर देता हूं कि अब जो नतीजे हैं टीसीएस के वो इनलाइन आए हैं, और सबसे बड़ी बात ये थी कि 27 रुपए प्रति शेयर के डिविडेंड की अनाउंसमेंट कर दी, जिसमें 9 रुपए प्रति शेयर का अंतरिम डिविडेंड और 18 रुपए प्रति शेयर का स्पेशल डिविडेंड अनाउंस हुआ है। कंपनी का एट्रिशन रेट सिग्निफिकेंट तरीके से कम है, 13.3%। ऑर्डर बुक 8.1 बिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स की है। मुनाफा इनलाइन समझिए आप, 11,058 करोड़ रुपए का आया है। आय 1.5% बढ़ी है, 60,583 करोड़ रुपए। इबिट 4.6% बढ़कर 15,155 करोड़ रुपए रहा है। लेकिन ऑपरेटिंग लिहाज से नतीजे अच्छे हैं, 24.3% मार्जिन थे, वो बढ़कर हो गए हैं 25%। तो बाजार को ये बात ठीक लगेगी। अगर कोई भी डिप आता है पोस्ट रिजल्ट्स, तो उसके बाद फिर इंस्टीट्यूशंस की कुछ नेगेटिव, जिसको हम बोलते हैं डी रेटिंग ऑफ स्टॉक, वो नहीं हो सकती। न्यूट्रल रेटिंग के साथ ही आगे जाना पड़ेगा। देखते हैं कल ब्रोकिंग हाउसेस क्या नजरिया लेते हैं, क्योंकि जिनके मेजर रेवेन्यू जो टेरिटरीज हैं अमेरिका और यूरोप, वहां पर अभी भी कंसर्न बने हुए हैं। तो वो आने वाले समय के लिए निपटेंगे। यूएस और यूरोप जब सुधरेगा तो उसके बाद कारोबार पे और वृद्धि देखने को मिलेगी। एक कंसर्न है बस, एंड दैट इज न्यू एडिशन ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज। वहां पर थोड़ा ब्रेक लगता हुआ नजर आ रहा है। अभी टीसीएस जैसी कंपनी ज्यादा हायरिंग नहीं कर रही है, तो उसको भी अब पूरी आईटी का देखना पड़ेगा किस तरीके से। इनफैक्ट इन्फोसिस और टीसीएस दोनों ही हायरिंग के फ्रंट पे थोड़ा धीरे अप्रोच कर रही हैं इस समय। तो एक ये कंसर्न डेफिनेटली नजर आता है। और जैसे आप सुन ही रहे थे कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस पे कंपनी का बहुत ज्यादा जोर है और उसी में ही अपने एम्प्लॉयज को ट्रेन भी करेगी। फिलहाल इस सेगमेंट से इतना ही, और कल सुबह टीसीएस और इन्फोसिस दोनों ही स्टॉक्स के ऊपर नजर रहेगी।